Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 4, and we finally have an official piece of visual, moving material solely for the fourth and final season of Superman and Lois. However, it has a bit of an asterisk, so it's a trailer, just to clarify, but it is a teaser trailer of sorts, as it's really just advertising the full official trailer that will be dropping exactly a week from today at San Diego Comic-Con, of course in San Diego, during the Superman and Lois panel in Hall H. Now, though this teaser trailer is just a teaser trailer and a bit of advertising, it does give us a few looks at some very interesting things in Season 4, and maybe giving us a hint as to a possible, nod to an animated film that dealt with something similar. You'll understand when we start talking about it. Firstly, though, we did get this poster here. This is the first poster for Season 4, I guess the official one. Don't think this will be what's on the DVD, or the Blu-ray. Usually it'll probably just be all the cast members, so we'll probably get another poster maybe a month before the show comes out, or before the show premieres, so middle of September roughly, which is those, has Superman, Lois, Jordan, Jonathan, that type of thing, sometime soon. That will probably get another trailer as well. But this poster here, it sort of feels like the Flash's final season poster with the golden boots, and it said the final run, I think it said. But of course, this is a bit, a little bit more ominous because it's teasing a death with Superman's cape heavily damaged and also not attached to Superman, just floating in space. This, of course, hints at death. Now, this also has the premiere date of October 17th. Some people thought we hadn't had this dropped yet. We already knew that. I think that came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. But yeah, let's quickly watch this teaser trailer that they dropped right now, and then we'll break it down.
Superman is dead. Can we please just enjoy the moment?
But yeah, of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on that trailer. Anything that's within there that you think I missed, I know you might have something, let me know. And just does it get you excited for this final season? Just let me know your general thoughts and theories in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're looking forward to this season of Superman and Lois, drop a like on the video, it takes 2 seconds. Now, of course, the trailer starts off with the announcement of full trailer drop everywhere July 27th, which is the date of the Comic-Con panel a week from now. But during that, we also see our first look at Season 4, which is, of course, the continuation of the fight that ended right at the end of Season 3 of Superman and Lois. Of course, when we left Season 3, it was Superman and Doomsday leaping at each other, fists ready to punch. Well, fists for Superman, or a fist for Superman, and Doomsday, I think, had ripped out some of his own spikes to use as weapons. But of course, we cut to black in that moment. Oh god, what a cliffhanger. Now I have to wait ages. And it ended up being even longer because of the writer's strike and everything like that. So it's even more crazy. It's going to be about a year and maybe not exactly a year and a half, but definitely over a year and a quarter from the end of that season to when we'll finally get to watch the first episode and continue that, which is pretty crazy. But as we see in this trailer, things they don't seem to be going that great for our old mate Superman. And I think they do reuse a shot from the end of Season 3, in that finale, which is the shot of Doomsday, carrying Superman up from Earth into space. But then we see some new stuff with Superman being thrown through an asteroid field and then into a big asteroid. Lots of stuff being crashed into and blowing up and stuff. And we don't really see any negatives when it comes to Doomsday. He just seems to be the one that drags him up there. And I guess off camera, he's the one, or at least before they cut to Superman going through all this stuff, he's the one throwing Superman. And we do actually see Superman's torn up cape, pretty much like the style that we saw in the official Season 4 poster, left behind on the surface of the moon. But I did notice this. Some of you might have as well. I don't know if it's just me that's on, oh, I've noticed this, because I haven't seen anyone talking about it, but then again, I haven't really browsed too much, so I don't know. But when Superman is being flung around and thrown into asteroids and everything like that throughout this trailer, he doesn't actually have his cape on. It's missing. It's been torn off. So that is torn off probably soon into the fight when we pick up with it in episode 1 of Season 4. Well, presumably you'd have to think at the start of Season 4. I don't know if they're going to do this weird thing where maybe a couple of minutes have gone by and they've actually been fighting for quite a while and then we just pick up, so it's a bit of a shortened fight. Hopefully they don't do that. I really hope we literally pick up with them meeting just before we cut off at the end of Season 3. But then, like, shortly after his cape is thrown off, we move on to these other parts of the fight where Superman is being thrown around through this asteroid field and seems to be getting pretty dominated. So it doesn't look like the fight ends on the moon. At least you wouldn't think so. At least it moves from the moon. Maybe it comes back to the moon, but at least moves from where we left it at the moon. Though that shot of the cape just being there might give that impression that it ends on the moon if you don't notice that he doesn't have his cape when he's being thrown into those asteroids and stuff like that. But throughout the trailer, we do hear Lex Luthor say, "Superman is dead. Can we please just enjoy the moment?" And it does look like he might be talking to the new character for this season, that being Amanda McCoy, who's played by Yvonne Chapman. She is going to be a close ally to Lex Luthor and has been pretty much running Luthor Corps while Lex has been locked up in prison for all these years. So she's going to be a decent player throughout the season, but we also know we're going to get Lex Luthor's crew from the end of last season that was helping him. They're also returning for this season as well, or at least for parts of this season. And we also do, of course, see Lois crying in pain while holding on to her two sons, heavily indicating that Superman is no more and is gone, and that they maybe have seen him dead, or at least they 100% know that he's dead or there's no sign of life. But that is really the big thing in the trailer. We only really get that one shot of Doomsday dragging Superman into space, which, as I said, seems to be just the shot from the season 3 finale. So what is going to happen here with this fight? Will Superman literally just be killed in space? Well, the show actually has the chance and is sort of teasing that this is happening at adapting a version of the fight between Doomsday and Superman, which led to the defeat of Doomsday and the supposed proper death of Superman. Like, for those that don't know, when it's the death of Superman, Superman actually doesn't really die. He just goes into it's like a deep, like, Kryptonian coma sort of recovery thing sort of thing. He doesn't actually properly die. But anyway, you still call it the death of Superman because that's how it's perceived. But anyway, this style of fight that potentially what the show is doing was done in the animated film Superman Doomsday. Now in this, Superman and Doomsday were in space or on like the upper limits of the Earth's atmosphere. Like they just broke into space from Earth, and then Superman pretty much turns around and pile drives Doomsday down to the ground from that great height, like all the way up there, with all of his powers. Not just falling, he's using his powers to drive Doomsday down from that height into the ground, this killing Doomsday almost instantly. Like it's pretty much like a couple of second wait and then Doomsday dies, with Superman then dying, if you want to say, like die, from his injuries shortly after like meeting up with Lois again shortly, but then he, you know, quote unquote dies. And like there is also like another nod to this fight with Doomsday from that animated movie in the show of Superman and Lois, is that in that animated film, they also fight in the subway station before going into space. I did see someone saying that at the end of last season, because obviously it happens, and it was like, oh, that happens in this animated film. But now we're seeing potentially that could be how, you know, Superman kills Doomsday as well as like what happens in that animated film. In the comic, they just like punch each other. Like it's like a really hard hit that kills both of them. I don't know if there's any other interpretations, because there's been like multiple interpretations of the Doomsday vs Superman fight. Even the comics have done it multiple times as well. Now in that animated film, they do crash into Metropolis, like Superman drives Doomsday into Metropolis, which I don't see happening in the show because, well, one, there were no set photos and they would have had to have filmed in downtown Vancouver to get that, and that would have 100% been seen by the public, and we'd already know by this point. So I think it's going to be Smallville. It just makes more sense because that's where Lois was and everyone else was, so it makes more sense that he'd probably crash down to Smallville. So if they do crash down to Earth, you'd think they land in downtown Smallville, in that area where pretty much they left to go into space, or like when they left initially. But hypothetically, what if he dies in space? Because we don't see in the trailer him lying on the ground in Smallville. We don't see Lois lying over him and like crying or anything like that. So what if he does die in space? Well, I don't think that's out of the question, because Jordan might be able to hear his heartbeat and then not be able to hear his heartbeat. And then it's like, oh, I can't hear him. He's gone. He's dead. And they just assume that. And then maybe they even have something else where there's a sign, like maybe Doomsday comes back. Maybe like Doomsday crashes down into Earth, but Superman doesn't come back. And maybe there's blood or something on Doomsday. Or maybe Doomsday has the cape. Something like that. There could be some combination of things which leads them to believe that Superman is dead because there's no sign of him, but there's also a sign of him being hurt. But also in the trailer, we do see an asteroid exploding. It's clearly, I think, when Superman goes into it, but maybe this is Superman doing something to sacrifice himself to take out Doomsday or something, and it's just a big representation of it with a big explosion and stuff. That's also a possible option there as well. But if I had to make a guess, I think they'd have it that Superman is actually on Earth and dead. I think that just makes sense because everyone can see his body and they believe he's dead and everything like that. I think that's the easiest way. but I could easily see them having it that he dies in space, or they're led to believe that he's dead in space because there's some sort of substantial evidence for them to believe that. So probably two options there. Now, at the end of the trailer, there is the black and silver sort of logo at the end. Obviously, like the Superman sort of like revival suit, whatever it is from the Death of Superman that he wears. Will we get this? I don't know. There's no confirmation of it at this point. There's no sign of it in the trailer. There was no signs, but of course, like in regards to set stuff or behind the scenes stuff. But then again, we didn't get a lot of that. So I want to say hopefully, but then again, they could just use the suit like that we had in like Elseworlds and that they then used for the Other Earth Superman, just like maybe alter it a bit, maybe change the cape's color or remove the cape. That's what they could do. But they put that at the end there. So that's a very interesting thing. That obviously hints at the death of Superman more, but it also makes you wonder, are they going to do a suit there? I'd like to think they would, but I don't think it's necessary at the same time. They could do some like other variation of it, which ties into that color scheme without necessarily doing a suit. But I don't know. You might have to let me know in the comments. Do you want the suit? Do you think it's necessary? Or do you think it's a bit of a luxury? Like, oh, it's cool if we get it, but it's not necessary 100%. Now, as I said, this is a teaser trailer for the Comic-Con trailer coming in a week. In regards to that, I am very interested because they say, like, usually when we get these trailers, and I mentioned it before when I think we were going over the Comic-Con panel details, usually it's just it's footage from episode 1, maybe a bit of episode 2 if you're lucky. But I have a feeling they're going to show us a decent amount of stuff from throughout the season. Like, from, even up until the finale, without obviously spoiling stuff, of course. Maybe even get a first look at Jimmy Olsen and some other cool stuff. It would not surprise me if they show some things like that. Maybe even the possibility of a new suit for Jordan. If there's anyone that needs a new suit, I think it's Jordan. I want Jordan to potentially get this more Superboy in style suit. Doesn't necessarily have to happen in episode 1 or 2, but I wouldn't mind by the end of the season where he has it, just so we can, believe that he goes on to be Superboy like proper, not wearing like that proto suit that he has with the goggles and like just pretty much looks like Spider-Man Noir or like that weird one from that Spider-Man movie. Just something in that fashion. But I'm expecting the trailer to probably be like 2 minutes. I don't think they would have released this if the trailer that they're releasing at Comic-Con isn't at least a decent length. I'm expecting like 2.5 minutes, but if it's for the entire season and they show a decent amount of stuff there and focus on different things like that, then I'm expecting a decent amount. The only big thing is that they're teasing the death of Superman, and some of you might have thought this already, but they're teasing the death of Superman, so I guess they can't show too much Superman. You know what I mean? If he's meant to die, you can't just show, oh, by the way, in episode 3, he's back up and running, and here's some action shots from him. You can't really do that, can you? So that maybe tinkers a bit in regards to what they can show, but then again, they might show what Lex Luthor's doing. They might show a lot of Jordan as Superboy. They might, show some stuff there. We know we're getting flashbacks this season, so maybe they show some flashback stuff. Obviously, they can show some stuff with John Henry Irons and everything like that. So yeah, they could just show things like that and flesh it out. And also, they might put some surprises in there. I don't know. It's up for them to. They're the ones editing the trailer. They're the ones putting it together. So let's wait and see, I guess. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this teaser trailer? Looking forward to the full trailer in exactly a week from now. Do you have any theories heading into that? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.